Well, we've come to the end of our story, the saddest story ever told. It's a story about, well, me, and of a guy who is just too old. You're too old, 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 old. What we had was really beautiful, but you're too old. You were full of illusion, so I had to burst your bubble, and I could have been nicer, but it wasn't worth the trouble. So I thank you a lot for Ben and Jerry's and the movie, and I got to admit that our bedtime was groovy. But you're too old, 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 old. What we had was really beautiful, but you're too old. Well, you gave me your love, and you really understood me, and you gave me a chance to be the way I really could be. But you're not what I want, and I told you before, so get out of my way while I act like a whore. 'Cause you're too old, 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 old. What we had was really beautiful, but you're too old. Ted and I got together last year in March. I told him it wasn't really what I wanted because he was too old to have a family with, which is like the only purpose of a relationship, right? But we started up anyway. It went on until July when I decided I'd had enough. So I fucked a student of his because he was there, you know, and it had to be somebody. And then the next day I dumped Ted. And a few days after that I fucked this other guy I'd been interested in too. I actually liked him more to begin with, but I'd gone to the party with the first guy, the student. So I had to wait with the second one, but not very long. And right after that, I went to Israel for 2 months. I did a few guys there too, including a cousin of mine from New Jersey, who I'd had a secret thing going on with for years. When I came back in the fall, I can't really say what I did, because I didn't tell Ted about this time, and he's the one who wrote this. But I did have these big dreams about a future with my New Jersey cousin, who's an accountant, by the way. Still, around October, I started seeing Ted again. He coached me on some songs, and he was still in love with me, so I figured I might as well let him get back into my pants. This time, things were really good. I told him I somehow didn't need to be such an asshole to him anymore, because I'd already done all that. Over Christmas, though, I flew to New York for 2 weeks to visit my cousins, including the one you know. I'd already planned the trip before Ted and I got back together, so of course I had to go through with it, didn't I? And so my cousin and I fucked like every night I was there, except for when I got my period. When I got back again, the shit really hit the fan. Duh, right? But I cried a lot and promised Ted I'd really work to build a relationship with him now. And I really wanted to, you know, and so he took me back. But I kept thinking, he's too old. So after a couple of months, I started getting distant again, which is how I do it, until he finally asked, what's going on? And one thing led to another in the conversation, which is sort of what I wanted to happen anyway, and suddenly we were saying goodbye, and that was it. Of course, I'd already been lining up the next guy. Why waste time, right? And so just 3 weeks later, I was able to change my Facebook status from single to in a relationship. It's the real thing this time, I just know it. We're going to visit Israel together and everything. This is it now, for sure. No, really. Well, you did what you could, and you told me the truth. And it's true, you're very youthful, but I'd rather have youth. So I got a new guy now, and although you say whatever, I know this is for real now, and it's gonna last forever. You were just too old, 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 old. What we had was really beautiful, but you're too old. Well, please believe me when I speak it once more, you're too old. I know your hearing's getting weak, so once more, you're too old. You're just too old, old, old.